that you have to read for a degree, which it literally means that you have to read for a degree. Everyone in here will need to ensure that your assignments are done on time. You have to ensure that you have access to the library, know where the library is. Am I saying something, by the way, that you've already heard in one of the other orientations? You heard all of this already? Okay, all right. If that's the case, let me not bore you. All right, let's just start by introducing the staff. So I'm going to ask each member of staff in the department just to stand, introduce themselves. They'll tell you what they teach. If they're a unit coordinator, they'll also say that they're a unit coordinator. So you can just start with Dr. Nelson here. Dr. Horton. And she's also the deputy head of department as well. Miss Nelson? Dr. Schoolberg. And she is also the unit coordinator for the public policy and management unit and or associate dean. Dr. Daly. Just, no, go ahead, Gavin. Presentation, MPIC. Okay. Okay, thanks everyone. Mrs. Pinto? Mrs. Pinto? Yeah. Okay. All right, great. So, as I guess you've said before, you've heard everything you needed to hear. I think there are just a couple of things that I wish I had known before I started as a student, as an undergraduate student. I think the most important thing is something that I tell most of my students. It's not one degree. You're not competing for one degree. You know, you have that time. I don't know if in a high school situation that is the case where you have a friend who has access to a book and decides that they're going to keep that book and keep the information hidden from you. If you work together, chances are you can achieve a lot, and particularly at the university level, if you work together, it's a guarantee that in most instances that you'll get an A. So for those of you who are strategic in terms of going to the library and finding that one book in the library and keeping it for the entire semester, I would recommend that you would work and share the information with your fellow colleagues. That is one. So the first thing I want to say to you is that it's not one degree, so you can work together to try and get an A. The second thing is that get involved. We have a lot of youth programs across the University of the West Indies. I'm sure many of you have been engaged already. In the department in particular, we have a governance society, which is a group of young persons who go into the high schools to raise awareness about, and communities to raise awareness about good governance. And it's even though the official curriculum facilitates you getting the specific knowledge and capacity for you to work in the diplomatic corps or as a politician or whatever career you choose, there are certain skill sets that you can only learn if you do some form of outreach and volunteer work, and the Governance Society facilitates all of that. So that's the second one, get involved. As a matter of fact, Cleveland is a student who is the government representative on the Guild, the faculty representative for the Department of Government. He'll speak to you shortly. He's involved, and I'm pretty much sure he can tell you that even though he's doing his degree, that his involvement, his student life is also a very critical component in his growth and development. So before I go any further, I'd like to just ask each unit coordinator to just come and just tell you what to expect. And then we're going to move directly into Cleveland, who's going to talk to you about an event that the department will be doing. So we'll start with Lisa. No applause.
Good morning again, everyone. I'm Lisa Vassiani. I'm the unit coordinator for those of you doing international relations. First thing some of you could do is, if you're on Instagram, follow the Department of Government's page at Howie. What's our handle? Instagram handle? Right, Department of Government, UWIMona. There you will get tips on being a student, updates on things happening in the department, information on some of the students who are in the department, profiles on some of our colleagues as well. So do that. I know you're all very internet savvy. Okay, for those of you doing international relations, simply follow the registration guidelines. As Ms. Pinto said to you, do not listen to what friends say or what other persons say. If the requirements are for you to do 10 courses in your first year, 5 in semester 1, 5 in semester 2, this is something that the university has been doing for years, so they know it works. over 1,000,000 years ago, I was in your position as a first-year student in international relations as well. So we know what works. If we suggest that you do a foundation course in critical thinking and reading and writing, do it in first year. Don't listen to everyone else who will say, no man, do it when you reach final year. There's a reason it's there. It's there so you'll be prepared for all your writing assignments that are ahead of you. In the international relations program, we have an internship. This is usually for the top roughly 25 students in our department. It's an opportunity for you to work with somewhere that's directly related with international relations. Some students opt to do work and study programs for financial reasons, but I urge you, this is an incentive for you, even though some of these internships are not paid. It's far better for you to develop your CV and be able to graduate saying that you have experience working at the UNDP versus IHOP. So that's the internship. Normally, students are told about this by the beginning of their second year. We have another program in the department that's not just for international relations students, but it's good for you to know about it from now. This is called our Masters in Politics and International Cooperation. This is a program that's a collaboration between the University of Bordeaux in France, University of Martinique, and the University of the West Indies, where it's a 5-year program. You start your first year in UWI, you go to France, you go to Martinique, you come back to UWI, and by the end of the 5 years, you end up with a master's. The main requirement for this is that you do at least a first year, you have at least first year competence in French. So if it's something you think you're interested in, and if you're not remembering anything that any of us is saying this morning, please come to me or anyone in the Department of Government later, because I know you probably have an information overload and nothing is sticking now. I would just urge you, go to your classes. You are doing 5 courses every semester, 2 hours of lectures, 1 hour of tutorials, so that's what, 3 times 5? 15 hours, treat your university program like work. So it's a big jump from high school where everything is timetabled for you. You'll have to learn to manage your time. Get to use the library, even though everything may be online. Manage your time early, and all the best. We will see much more of each other. Dr. Schobert, please come.
Good morning again, colleague. My name is Iris Skoberg, and as was introduced, I manage the Public and Policy Management Unit. Now, all that Dr. Bassiani has said are relevant to everyone inside here, but specifically to do with the Public and Policy Management courses, the actual program. We adopt a particular strategy to prepare you for the world of work, and that is writing and speaking across the curriculum. So all our courses have several activities that require you to speak and write and make presentations so that you develop those skills. We also adopt a particular mantra. Our courses are theory-led and practice-driven, which means that we assist you to solve public problems, policy problems. We help you to think independently and to speak intelligently. So when you look at your course outlines, I'd like you to look at the objectives. The courses have rationales. The rationales are clearly stated. Why is it we are doing this? And the objectives are clear. we set exams based on learning outcomes. That means at the end of the course, you look at what you're supposed to be able to do, and that is how your exams are set. But don't worry about exams now. The point is, you're going to go through a process. I think you all should know, and it must have been said to you, that university education is not a teacher-led education. It's not a lecturer-led education. You have different nodes in this learning process. You are one of those nodes. I am one, the library is one, your colleagues are one. So therefore, you have to draw on all those different nodes to build your capacity to think creatively and independently. We also have an internship program. That internship program is managed through the Cabinet Office, where we place persons who read public and policy management, and as well as IR and political science in the public sector, different organizations, so that you're able to apply what you have learned here conceptually into the world of work. At the graduate level, we have a Master's in International Public and Development Management program, as well as a PhD. And all the courses in the department have a doctoral program. So you can choose, think about that later on. But just to say to you that if you choose to move forward in doing a master's in the public and policy management program, you need to be careful of the courses that you select at the undergraduate level. So I wish that you will have a very productive year. You read for your degree. You read for your degree, which means you should begin by reading the regulations, by reading the instructions, and when you do not understand, you ask for clarification. Welcome.
Good morning again, everyone. My name is Kavita Johnson, and I am one of 2 unit coordinators for the Political Science Unit. At this time, I'd just like to introduce Dr. Stacey Ann Wilson, and you'll interact more with Dr. Wilson at the graduate level, maybe? Yes. All right, so Dr. Skoberg and Dr. Vassiani have covered most of the points already, but what I will say is that I implore you all to go and get your UWIMona email account. Please get those active, as well as your OURVLE account. Are you familiar with these 2 platforms as yet? Yes? Okay, so for those of you who aren't, you need to visit MITS or the library to get those activated, because these are the platforms that we use to communicate with you, right? So by the end of this week, all your course outlines would have been uploaded onto OURVLE, and you will get notices through your email account to access this information. So please do not turn up to your lectures next week, particularly the political science courses, saying that you have not downloaded, you didn't get any memos about your tutorial times, anything like that, all right? The next thing I'm gonna remind you is that your tutorials are compulsory. You must attend all tutorials, and it is during your tutorials that you will do your coursework, okay? So tutorial presentations, tutorial discussions, etc. You have to read, go to the library, look at the material that's online on OURVLE, and just try to keep abreast with your tutorials each week, right? In the political science unit, we have 2 programs, the UWI Governance Society, or that Dr. Waller had already mentioned, and I'm going to encourage you all to come out on a Thursday afternoon and see what the UWI Governance Society is all about. We also have a parliamentary internship program. Now, this is available mostly to our graduate students, but we're working on opening up slots for some of our undergraduate students. So it means that you need to keep up your GPA, participate in your classes, and you can make yourself available to these opportunities that are available. Some of the other opportunities that we have here at UWI include semester abroad programs, etc., but this is all dependent on how you perform in your courses. So I just want to encourage you to keep in touch with your tutors, know their names, know your teaching assistants, know your lecturers, and just be informed. That's the most important thing about being a student in the Department of Government. It's not enough to say you didn't know anymore, right? So use the tools that are available to you and just do your best. Any information regarding registration, details, etc., you can speak to Mr. Howard Reed, who is a teaching assistant, and he will be able to assist you with that. Or you can visit Ms. Pinto at the department's office. All right? Thank you, and have a good semester.
Yeah, so there's something else I had forgotten to say. So at the end of the 3 years, many of you are going to require recommendations for entry into a graduate program, whether it's here or overseas. And many of you will also require recommendations for jobs. Sometimes persons would come to me and ask me for a recommendation, and I'm sure my colleagues can also sympathize with me. And even though you may be in a class, I may not know you. Because the classrooms, the lecture rooms are very big, and in instances where I may or may not be in the tutorial, you may be one of those students who is a bit shy, right? I'm going to make a recommendation that you try to speak up in class, you try to get yourself known in class, you try to know your lecturers. None of your lecturers will actually bite you. So you try to know your lecturer. Now there's a delicate balance between, and life is always about balance. There's a delicate balance between speaking up in class and being seen and heard and managing that process, because you really don't want to hear that enough. Because you know you have good enough and bad enough. And I don't necessarily need to go into the axiology of the two words. And I'm sure you know we have friends who are good enough and you have friends who are bad enough. And bad enough meaning that they're too enough, right? So you have to know how to negotiate that engagement with your lecturers. So the experience with your lecturers will leave a sweet, not necessarily bittersweet, but a sweet taste in the lecturer's mouth. And so whenever that documentation comes to us, we will know that this is someone who normally speaks in class, is polite, is courteous, and more importantly, is respectful to me as a lecturer as well as the other students. Now, so we have some other presentations. Mrs. Pinto, our senior administrator, will come and speak to some regulations in the handbook, and afterwards we'll ask the deputy HOD, Dr. Horton, to speak, and then we'll have Cleveland come and talk about a great event that is coming up in February that each and every one of you will be a part of.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are some faculty regulations which are very important and that the faculty office would like us to emphasize with you. If it is that you have failed throughout your semester and you see RTW on your record, which means required to withdraw, that's because you have failed to gain a certain GPA point, right? You can speak with the Deputy Dean in the faculty office about what's your next step if that appears on your record. There is also our handbook. The handbook is online. I just extracted a page. The page speaks to the GPA, the points for each GPA, and it also speaks to what is required to get a certain class of degree. So this is very important to you. So you need to read your handbook. The handbook tells you about every faculty regulation. It's important. Do not come and say you did not know. It is available. As you have been told, you are here to read for your degree. No one will be here to spoon feed you about faculty regulations. If it is you do not understand, fine, come and clarify a point, but please read, all right? So those who want to get a first-class honors, there's a certain GPA point that you must achieve, and so on, all right? There is a point, the lowest point you can get a GPA to graduate from the UWI is a 2. Anything below that would be an RTW, and if you're unable to achieve higher, we say thank you for coming, but goodbye. It is up to you to put in the work, right? The department offices, the faculty office, all the admin staff, we are here to help you. Help yourself by obtaining the information, and do not go throughout your 3 years or whatever and say that you did not know at the very end, okay? Thank you very much. Dr. Waller? Oh. Okay, so Dr. Horton, our Deputy Head of Department, will now come. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. I am Suzette Horton, and I'm the Deputy Head for the Department of Government. I was asked by my head, Dr. Waller, to bring greetings to you this morning. So greetings, goodbye. Okay, but before I go, I just want to welcome you warmly to the Department of Government. You have matriculated in the Department of Government, which means that you're part of a privileged group. You belong here, you have done well, you belong here, and I want you all to recognize that you belong here and that you're here for a purpose. And the purpose, could anyone tell me what that purpose is? Why are you here? That's an important question that you need to ask yourself. Why are you here? And a simple answer is that you're here because you want to learn, you're here because you want to make a difference, you're here because you want to complete your degree. So at the end of 3 years, for some of you who are full-time students, and 4 years for the part-time students, you should be exiting this institution. And when you're exiting this institution, what's important is that you should exit going out into the society knowing that you are going to make a difference, okay? I just want also to talk a bit about the Department of Government. Now, the Department of Government is our premier department here at the University of the West Indies, okay? We have a number of faculty members. We have a good mix of seasoned faculty members as well as young, vibrant faculty members. Faculty members that you'll be able to resonate with, okay? Now, I mentioned earlier that you have matriculated into the Department of Government, and we consider the Department of Government as a family department here at UWI, okay? So we consider our students, our faculty members, our administrative staff as part of a wider family. We all have responsibilities in a family. You have to participate actively in a family. You have to contribute. And your contribution here in this family, in the Department of Government, is to ensure that you work hard. All the things that my other colleagues have mentioned, that you need to study hard, you need to attend your lectures, you need to participate in extracurricular activities. Some of the clubs were mentioned here. mention was made of the governance society that you can engage in. There's also the United Nations Club that I encourage all of you to be a part of. And what's important is that you should make your time here at UWI count. Okay, develop good relationships, engage with your lecturers, know your lecturers. When it's time that you need a recommendation, it's the lecturers, your tutors, who will have to write those recommendations for you. Okay, once again, welcome to the Department of Government, and I'll see more of you over the duration of your stay here in the department. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hart. My colleagues are teasing me about my use of the word axiology, which perhaps is the first verbose word you'll hear being here. So it's really about things that are of value to you, or what do you value. And when I said the axiology of enoughness, what I essentially was trying to explain to you is that how valuable is it for you to be engaging, to manage the engagement with you and your lecturer for future reference. So it's just one of three big words in philosophy. The other ones are what now? Epistemology and ontology. I doubt, Michelle, they learn these words in political theory, right? In political philosophy as well. Yeah, okay, so get used to it. Now I'm going to ask Cleveland to come and speak, but as a statistician or someone who teaches research methods, there's one little principle that I wonder if I can get it here. I want to just explain to you. Anybody who have ever taught research methods is very familiar with this principle. Is this working? So this is the first lecture. Okay. It's the first lecture. And of course, like when we do teach in the classrooms, there are some technical difficulties that we have to face. So let's see if Chrome will work. All right, so I should have put this on record. Okay, so there's this principle called the bell curve. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Or Dr. Daly is saying to me I shouldn't say it to you. So I won't go into the details of it, but I'm just going to explain this to you. Statistically, most of you will get a B and a B+. Everybody quiet now. Some of you will get an A, but some will not get the B and the B+ and will not get the A. They'll get something else. I don't want to go into that because I hear most of you using negative words. Right? My advice to you is to try to ensure that you get the A. So if you aim for the moon, you may miss it, but you'll just land on the mountains. Right? So try to get the A. So the bell curve is a theory in statistics that says that there's a normal distribution of data all the time, whereby the majority of persons would fall in the center, some fall on the left and some fall on the right. The ones and most of the persons would be the average person. I don't think there are any average persons in here, right? Are you average? Are you average? Average people don't get PhDs. Are you average? Are you A students? Okay, I didn't hear that in a very confident way. Are you A students? No, man. Are you A students? Are you going to get an A? Are you going to strive for an A? Do you think you're going to get an F? Okay, just want to see, to make sure you're listening. Cleveland, come and speak.
Hey, good morning, everybody. A little more vibes, please. Good morning, everybody. I'm Cleveland Palmer. I am a second-year international relations student, and I am your student rep for the Department of Government. So over the academic year, we'll be conducting a few activities geared towards engaging you as the students. Some of them include a government day to highlight research that has been done in our faculty, past students from the faculty and stuff like that. We plan to have a scholarship. Well, more like we plan to give some students who are worthy some probably laptops or tablets to help with your academic journey. Some mentorship and vision boarding exercises. And the most important one, the key event for the year. How many people here watch TED Talks? Raise your hand. No? No? Okay. That's cool. All right, so what TED Talk does is that we take these huge concepts and we cut them down to a maximum of 18 minutes to present them in a fun, easily understood format that anybody can understand. We will be hosting a TED Talk, namely TEDx UWIMona. I am the lead coordinator, and I have some members of my committee here. If you guys could just stand and tell them your name, major, and your role on the committee. And my PRO is missing, Ashley Francis. She's working with the faculty office. But the thing is that SED is a really huge event. It's really, really huge. Our budget is shocking. It will be something huge. We want to have an amalgamation of these amazing speakers about different topics. A real look at weed, Rastafarianism, women in politics, surviving university. And it's a lot of topics. It's going to be grand, it's going to be amazing, it's going to be great, and we need your support to help us to promote the event. Please go on social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, at TEDx UWIMona, so please like and follow. Outside of that, if there are any questions, queries, or concerns, or complaints about anything at all, please feel free to contact me. My number is public information. If you want it now, I'll say it. 482-7854, and I'll reply to you as quick as possible. Anything at all, a problem with a class or another student or the facilities, please let me know and get in contact with me. I look forward to having an amazing year. I only have one tip. As government students, we need to be abreast of current affairs, locally and internationally. So please watch the news, locally and internationally, to keep abreast of what's going on so we can have educated discussions as we move throughout the year. Best of luck, enjoy university life, and enjoy your Pelican journey. Have a great day.
I think we've come to the end of the program. In the next half an hour, we should be opening up the rooms for persons to do the academic advising, but I think because I'm not entirely sure you know where the rooms are, I will just tell you who are the persons who will lead you to the particular rooms. So, political science is G102. So Dr. Wilson and Dr. Kavita Johnson will lead it there, sir. You can just put your hands up so they'll know who Dr. Wilson and Dr. Kavita Johnson. This is odd. Where's Mrs. Pinto? Kavita, look here. Come here for a minute. Give me a second, please. All right, so while we wait for finalize something. We have a spot prize for the student who could name all the programs, the majors in the Department of Government. So everybody's in that one? Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah. Probably. Probably I can stay here. Okay, and political science is 102, and public policy and management can be in here too. And 102 as well, but there's a big room in here. I think it's better to use this room for 2. Higher and public policy and management. All right. I'm going to notify Iris though. June? Someone you get a $10,000 book voucher. Her hand went up first. What are the programs in the department?
Our political science, public policy and management, African diaspora studies, political leadership strategy and management, public policy and management.
You're missing one more. Right. No. You're missing one more. Anybody else? Go ahead. Missing one more. Sorry. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. What you reading? You wrote it down? Okay. Huh? Let me see your own. Let me see your own. International, the MPIC. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. All right, sorry. Shh. What was it? Sorry. Yeah, but there's one that is in the department that is not listed here because I'll explain that to you after. But go ahead. The information is out there, and it was said earlier. It was said earlier, though you just didn't hear it. Two at the front, go ahead. Right? Political relations? No, man, as Barry G would say, you're out already. So, go ahead. Oh, sorry, she was, sorry. Go ahead, my mistake, you weren't finished. Go ahead, sorry. Right? Yes. And the MPIC program, but you're still missing one, you know. You're still missing one, you know. Yeah, she's missing one. Sorry, anybody else? Go ahead. If what? So give us all of them. Pardon? No, sorry. Who has hands? Oh, go ahead. Right? Right. Missing one. Right. You see, the first person missed one. The young lady over there missed the one that she actually said. So if you're listening to everybody, you'd realize. Go ahead. Sorry. Shh. Hold on. Right. Okay, all right, you got it now. All right, you got it. So the one that you had missed out is the International Politics and Cooperation, and the one that you had missed out is the African Diaspora Studies. That's it. So the MPIC program, Lisa, you want to? I know you mentioned it earlier. You spoke to them about it, but I don't. But would you be able to? Would you take anybody from in here? Does anybody qualify to? You want to tell them again? Because I don't think. You see, Dr. Vassi and I were saying that people, when you come to these things, you don't listen, right? So if you're listening, you'd have realized this program. So Dr. Vassi and I will have to come back up here and tell you how you can get to go to France and how you can get to go to Martinique. So I think, Dr. Bastiani, if I articulated it in that way, that you get to go to France for a year and then go to Guadeloupe or Martinique for a year and then come straight back into the master's program here, perhaps you'll listen. So Dr. Bastiani, you just say what you said again.
Okay, so what do you remember about the program? How long is it? 5 years. What's the main requirement? Okay, you have to be competent in French, and I believe you have to have a minimum GPA, Ms. Pinto, of 2.5. Usually, we open applications for the program in semester 2, and we do interviews. You have to get recommendations from lecturers or persons who have taught you. So when your lecturers have office hours, and your tutors have office hours, even if you know everything on the course outline and you think you could teach the course, still go to their consultation hours so they can get to know you. This program, usually we send about 3 students each year. The first year is counted as your UE year, your first year at UE. Your second year, help me out here, you go to France. Your third year is at University of Martinique. Then you go back to France, and then you come back to UE for your final year, and at the end of it, you essentially end up with 2 degrees, a bachelor's degree and a master's degree program. The good thing about this program is that for the duration of the 5 years, you pay your regular UE fees, right? Any questions? I know you've had a major information load this morning. Whatever you don't remember, just ask. You will get information along the way. But this year or last year, our students, the Jamaican students who finished this program, so the program isn't just for US students. We have students from all 3 campuses as well. There are 2 students who completed in the last cohort who were picked up very quickly by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. One is an advisor to the Minister of Education, I believe, so 3 from that year. So it's a very competitive program. It's a very good program for you to aspire towards. Any questions? We have, I believe it's 3 spaces. We have 2, this year we have 2 full scholarships. Okay. Back over to Dr. Wallow.
So apparently I had a Steve Harvey moment. I was just reminded by one of my colleagues that the African Diaspora program is actually a minor. It's no longer a major, so therefore you also qualify for the grant, and the colleague has generously, because I've decided I was going to use my book grant to give you the voucher, the colleague has generously contributed his book grant. So you can just speak to him directly after, and he can make an arrangement about, Dr. Gavin Daly, make an arrangement about the $10,000 book grant, and the lady, you can speak to me after that. All right. Oh, wait, right. So where did it? On the Guild? Students financing, right. So you can actually, is it a book grant or a bursary? Right. So I think you can apply for a bursary at the Office of Finance. How much is it? It's 50,000?
Guys, you have to who have endured difficulties that they didn't need to, have they read and used some of the resources that were provided by the university?
And just to add, some of our tutors and even our teaching assistants, they too have used some of these resources, and so you can ask your tutors about some of the programs as well. Right?
Okay, thank you. All right, Dr. Johnson will tell you where you're going to be breaking out to shortly, and also identify the persons who you will have to, who you can follow to go to the specific rooms. Kavita? Kavita, yeah. You want to? 11 o'clock. 11:30. Do it for 11. 10:30. Is that 10:30?
Okay, so the second session or breakout session will begin at 10:30. And for the public policy and management students, you can remain in this room. Where is Dr. Schoberg though? She'll be back? Okay. So all public policy and management students just remain in this room. International relations students, you can make your way to I-102, and you can follow Dr. Bassiani. You going? And Miss Blake, she went over already to... Right, not yet, just hold on a second. The political science and political leadership and strategy will be in G102, right? So you can follow me and Dr. Wilson, and we'll take you over there. So that should begin at 10:30, okay? Both rooms are by the Peach Building, what we call the Peach Buildings. Sarah Lister McIntyre Building, right? Yeah, McIntyre Building. All right, you closing out?
Public policy and management, you should stay in here. Dr. Schoberg is back on her way over to this particular room. So, Dr. Bassiani, International Relations, Dr. Johnson, and Dr. Wilson, and Dr. Nelson, International Relations, Dr. Political Science and Political Leadership, Dr. Wilson, and Dr. Johnson. Yes. So come to. Huh? no, actually, 12, make it 12:30, here? Yeah. Hello?